So in our previous class, we were discussing that how one can actually serve the absolute truth. How can service to the absolute truth be executed? By following austerity in life, by following certain things in life. I mean, certain things related to spirituality, which may help one to progress in their lives. Now, this is very much important that a person he takes knowledge from a spiritual master, and that spiritual master should be in parampara, coming in disciplic succession. And why is it important? Because only by hearing from spiritual master one can understand absolute truth, one can understand Krishna. And how one can understand Krishna? Because spiritual master in disciplic succession, he is very much aware about how Krishna is pleased, what pleases Krishna and what displeases Krishna. So you will see in like whatever devotional services we are practicing, that is good. But apart from that, also, there are certain things, like there are many small things which one really should take care of. Apart from our chanting, hearing, and consuming offered food, there are many things which we have to do in our practical lives, isn't it? So, when one will hear from a spiritual master, then only he'll come to know that whatever he is doing, whether it is pleasing to Krishna. Just like you will see some people, they do some kind of business or job, and just for example, they do stock marketing and stuff. So that is considered to be gambling. And if any person he will not hear from spiritual master means Diksha Guru and Shiksha Guru. Then that can be any one of these. Shiksha Guru is who teaches us the standards of scriptures, just like Prabhuji. So yes, uh, so until and unless he will not hear from spiritual master, he will not come to know that gambling is something which I should not do, because it will break my regulative principles and it is not pleasing to Krishna. So this was one example. There are many. Just like very small thing, we should not use our left hand if we are serving Krishna. So we should not use our left hand. We should always use right hand when we are offering something to Krishna. Suppose we are offering flowers. So we can't use our left hand. So these are small things which one should take care of. And Prabhuji was telling once there was a devotee. So when he was offering flowers or garlands to Krishna, so at that time what he was doing, on every flower, first he was putting tulsi leaf and then he was offering it to Krishna in that way. But this is really not the way. Garlands and flowers should be offered directly to Krishna. Are you getting? If we are offering flowers to Krishna, then we really don't have to put tulsi leaf on every flower and garland to offer it to Krishna. So these small things, uh, people understand. One come to know when he hear from a learned person. So this is very important. Okay. So later we discuss this point that whatever things we are following, austerity and stuff, it may seem painful at first, but later it becomes very natural and it becomes pleasing. Okay, now we'll move forward. There are two classes of men: those who are sober, dhira, and those who are extravagant, adhira. So, this is a very amazing point. Let's understand. When one, in spite of provocation or in spite of the presence of a source of mental agitation, can remain steady in his position, he is called dhira. So, who is dhira? Who is sober? Means he does not get agitated or kind of disturbed in whatever situation goes in his life. Now, what does that mean? Very important point, which is mentioned in Nectar of Instruction also, that it's not like that if any person is dhira, so difficulties will not come in his life. He also has to deal with difficulties in his life, but it's just he is able to control, he is able to tolerate those difficulties. This is very amazing point. That dhira purush, a dhira person who is sober, he, like, it becomes easy for him gradually through practice to become steady in his, even in his provoking situations of life. An example of a dhira is given by Kalidas Pandita, a great Sanskrit poet who wrote a book called 𝗰𝗵𝗵, wherein he has given an example concerning Lord Shiva. It appears that when the demigods were fighting the demons and were being defeated, they decided that they could be saved by the commander in chief born from the seminar of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, however, was in meditation, and to acquire the needed seminar was difficult. Let me just search the meaning of this word. It's showing some seed or something. Oh, okay. Maybe it's semen. So, so he was in meditation, and to acquire needed semen was very difficult. They therefore sent Parvati, a young girl, who appeared before Lord Shiva and worshipped his genitals. Although this young girl sat before Lord Shiva and touched his genitals, Lord Shiva was steady in meditation. Kalidas says, here is an example of a dhira. For despite a young girl's touching his genitals, he was undisturbed. So, this example is clear that Lord Shiva was not disturbed, he was undisturbed in such situation as well. Similarly, someone sent a young prostitute to disturb Haridas Thakur. Now, this is very prominent story. Everyone knows that Maya Devi herself came to test Haridas Thakur. And upon hearing her appeals for intercourse, Haridas Thakur said, "Yes, your proposal is very nice. Please sit down and let me finish my chanting, and then we shall enjoy." Morning came and the prostitute became impatient. But Haridas Thakur replied, "I'm very sorry. I could not finish my chanting. Come tonight again. The prostitute came for 3 nights, and on the third night she fell down at his feet, confessed her intentions, and pleaded with him. This is very amazing story. So, first of all, this story is being told here to to show an example, an amazing example of a dheer person who is never disturbed with external situations. So here you will see that Maya Devi herself came to test Haridas. I mean, that prostitute, that young prostitute, that girl, she came to Haridas, and her intention was to seduce him, to distract him from his path. But Haridas Thakurji was aware of her intentions very well. So instead of, see, devotees are like this, they always want to deliver other people from their ignorance. So what he did, instead of running from there, or instead of, whatever things he might do, what he did, he tried to trap that young prostitute herself in the trap of Krishna. How? Now, chanting, when we chant, so we chant out loud. So any person who is not even chanting, but if he is hearing the Mahamantra, then also his purification happens. And I can really relate with this. Like when I joined the workshop of Sattvic movement, so at the very first day, they played Hare Krishna Kirtan and they made us dance on that Kirtan. Now I was really liking that Kirtan very much. And I was repeatedly, hearing that Kirtan again and again. Whatever things I was doing, I was just repeatedly hearing that Kirtan. Even though I was not chanting at that time, but I was hearing whatever thing I was doing. If I was going on a walk, or I was, whatever things, whatever projects I was doing that time. So I was just hearing that Kirtan. I was really loving it. So this way, like I can really relate with this. This way, my purification was happening. My contaminated consciousness was purifying. This Hare Krishna Mahamantra is very, very potent. Every holy name of Krishna is very, very potent. Specifically, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, because it is given by Krishna himself. I mean, there is no difference in holy names of Krishna, but still, Hare Krishna Mahamantra is something special. Special in sense, it is very pleasing. Every person loves to, hear or dance on Hare Krishna Kirtan. So this way, I was observing, like later I observed this thing, and now I can really observe this thing nicely, that yeah, those days I was hearing the Mahamantra Kirtan, and that's why all that purification happened. And later, I got the association of devotees, and I was really loving it. So same way, this girl, she was constantly for 3 days and nights, she was hearing from Haridas Thakurji. And Haridas Thakurji is the great devotee of Krishna. He is Lord Brahma himself, incarnation of Lord Brahma, and he is called Nam Acharya. So now she was hearing from such a great devotee, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So definitely later her consciousness transformed, her consciousness, contaminated consciousness purified, and this way later she just fell down at the feet of Haridas Thakur ji and confessed her intentions and pleaded with him. I was induced to perform this act by a man who is your enemy. Kindly excuse me. Haridas Thakur then replied, I know all about that, but I allowed you to come here for 3 days so that you could be converted and become a devotee. So, are you seeing this? Are you catching this point? This faith, this faith devotees should have in their hearts. We hear so many, like so much glories of Harinam. We hear so much glories. But then also, I mean, by this hearing only, this faith will cultivate. So a devotee, he has so much faith in the names of Krishna. And Haridas Thakurji is a nice example of this. That how he's saying that yeah, I wanted you to come here so that you may get converted and you become a devotee. So same way, I'm really doing this. And especially yesterday when I heard the great glory of holy name, that any person who who got connected with Mahamantra in any way, like even if he has not spoken Mahamantra, but then also he has just heard the holy names of Krishna, Hare Krishna, he's just hearing it. Then also, uh, he will not be sent to the lowest species. Krishna will give him chance to uh, surrender himself to Krishna. So now that made me more, like I became more enthused to preach. That wow, this is just amazing how merciful Krishna is. That any person, even he has not chanted names of Krishna, but even if he has heard the name of Krishna, or he did anything for Krishna anyway, then also he will never fall into the low species. This is really amazing to see the mercy of Krishna. And this way, if any person is planning to, chant holy names of Krishna and to devote his life to Krishna, then why will not Krishna take him back to himself, to his abode? So we discuss this thing that a Brahmana or a devotee, he should, what we read, that he should cultivate, yes, cultivate faith in the Vedas and particularly in Bhagavad Gita by practicing, by hearing, by reading the Vedic scriptures. He should cultivate this intense faith in his heart that this holy name can deliver any person, any living entity. So yeah, I'm really focusing on this thing that initially, instead of telling much philosophy to people, you just make sure that they are chanting. This is very important. And once they'll start chanting, then everything will take its place by time. Okay. Now take these chanting beads and go on chanting. I am leaving this place. Here is another example of a Dhira who has control of his body, Deha, words, Vacha, and intelligence, Buddhi. One's body, words, and intelligence should be controlled by one who is Dhira and who actually knows the principle of religion. Now, are you getting this formula? How to become a Dhira, a Dhira person? I mean, not Adhira, a Dhira person means a means one. So, how to become a Dhira person? By engaging our bodies in service to Krishna, by engaging our tongue in service to Krishna, and by engaging our intelligence in service to Krishna. Now, how body can be engaged? Whatever groceries you are taking, you are walking, you're taking groceries for Krishna because that food will be cooked for Krishna. The hands that you are using for deity worship or for cooking, for cleaning. So, this way you are using your body in service to Krishna. Words, how words? It's very simple by talking about Krishna. So let me tell you one more amazing idea, which I shared with you earlier also, that you catch any one person and you know what I'm doing these days? First of all, I am making people chant. Then suppose they are consistently chanting for weeks. Then you know what I tell them? I tell them, like few days before, I visited temple and I took two books from temple, one for me and one for you. So I really like, I love reading, and I was really looking forward to a person who may read with me. So I took that book for you also. And you will see this way that person will become very happy. That wow, this person is thinking so much about me. And you can gift them any small book of Srila Prabhupada, and you may discuss that book with him. And definitely you should try to discuss that book with people which you have already read, or even if you have at least heard it. Just like we have completed two books so far, we are on our third book. So you may take any of those books, you can purchase, and or you may tell me, I will parcel you. And what you can do is you can invite people like this, maybe anyone from your neighborhood, or maybe any of your friend, any of your relative who love reading specifically. If they don't love reading, then definitely you can invite them to hear lectures. I am planning to create some videos, short videos, 4 to 5 minute videos, talking specifically about certain topics. So people are very lazy. They like, it's very difficult for them to hear whole class of 40 minutes, 50 minutes. So at least they will be able to hear this way, 4 to 5 minutes videos. They'll be able to hear like this. So I was really thinking of making a content like this. Let's see. So yes, are you getting this thing? Try to invite people. Yesterday, Prabhuji was saying, and Srila Prabhupada himself says this, that even any person is touching these books, he's touching Bhagavad Gita, then that is also purifying him. So you can definitely gift them books. And amazing thing is, books are available in almost every language, specifically Hindi and English. So you can gift them like this, and you can invite them for reading. So 2 days ago, I said same thing to one person, And he was very happy that, wow, yes, I would love to read with you. And people really love gifts. And this way you show your affection, your compassion to them. This is something which attracts people very much. That, wow, he's a very nice person. He's gifting me. He's my true friend. So this way, we should try to plan how to preach people, how to connect people with Krishna. So this way you can discuss. So are you getting this? This way you will be putting your words, your tongue in service to Krishna. You will be talking more about Krishna. And even if any person, he is not able to, put more of his time in discussing these books and stuff like that, you can tell them to discuss only one page, to read only one page every single day. I'm doing this with one person. We are reading only one page, but there are many things to discuss on even that one page. This is amazing. And intelligence, just like you are hearing. So you are using your intelligence in understanding the knowledge. When you are discussing with someone, then you are using your intelligence to put words in nice way so that other people may understand the knowledge nicely. So this way, when you are putting your body, words, and intelligence in service to Krishna, this way you become a dheer person. Dheer means who is never disturbed, who is always steady, even in troubling situations, provoking situations. And are you really relating with this? Like you will see any problem, like problems, it's not like that problems are not coming in our lives, but then also we are consistent in our practices. So this way, by constant practice, one becomes dheera. He becomes fixed, stable, steady in his devotional practices, which is really amazing. We have been continuously committing sinful activities since time immemorial. And we do not know when this began because eternal means which has no beginning or end. So we have no idea from like how long we are committing sinful activities. Do you agree with this also? That when we were not Krishna conscious, we were definitely committing some sins. I mean, sins doesn't mean that you were murdering someone or you were planning in your mind to kill someone. No, not such horrible things. But even if we were consuming food and we were not offering it to Krishna, then that was also sinful act. This is very common. Everyone eats, but if they are not offering it to Krishna, then that is also that is also a sinful act. And we have been doing this from eternal time. It's not like this is the only time we got this human form of life. We have been taking birth in human form of life also from eternal time. But this life is meant for rectification of all the mistakes that we have committed. Specifically, if we are on this path, if we are getting opportunity to learn this knowledge, then definitely we should give our all. And not only we should do it like we are doing it, we are practicing it for our welfare, but we should also help other people uh, that they may also practice it for their welfare. We should always try to be a well wisher of everyone. And real welfare is you put them in service to Krishna. Same thing I was explaining to a devotee, who is discussing one page with me every single day. We are discussing perfect questions, perfect answers book. So, I was explaining him this thing that Krishna, I mean, yeah, that any person who has accepted Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is the most intelligent person. So Srila Prabhupada was explaining this thing. I mean that Mr. Bob, he was asking that there are people who are innocent and they are doing their like good karmas, but then also they are innocent, and but then also they use their conscience to do good things in their life. Then what about those people? I mean, are those animals? Srila Prabhupada was telling that any person who is not God conscious, he is an animal. Just like animal, he's always in ignorance. He cannot understand his relationship with God. So same way, if any person, he is not thinking about his relation with God, so he is simply an animal. He is a two-legged animal. So yes, that Mr. Bob, he was asking that what about those people who are innocent? They are not aware of anything. So see, it is really not a good qualification to be an innocent. And if any person is really an innocent, then if you are trying to preach him about Krishna, then he will naturally accept it if he's really a simple person. So it is like good, like it is okay to be a simple person, an innocent person, but it is really not good to be an unintelligent person. So any person who has accepted Krishna consciousness, first of all, it is like they are extremely rare souls and they are most intelligent. Like this shows their extreme intelligence if they have um, accepted this path. And on the other hand, if even those people they seems innocent to you, but then also if they are not accepting Krishna, then this shows that those people are unintelligent, dull consciousness. They have dull consciousness. She was saying, "No, I don't agree with this. I respect every people's opinion. They have different opinion about God. So okay, that is good, but like it is important to understand that if any person, if he is God conscious, then that is good, because later he will elevate and he will come to he will come to know, he will be able to understand about the supreme personality of Godhead. But any person who is not God conscious at all, he's assuming himself as the supreme controller, that everything is coming from me, sun is coming from me, and all those things, then he's fool number one. So this difference one should understand. So later I quoted him from Bhagavad Gita only in 7.19. Lord Krishna himself tells this thing that those souls are really rare who surrender unto me. After taking so many births, after so many births and deaths, they come to understand this thing that I am the reasons of all the reasons. I am the causes of all causes. So are you understanding this thing? That we have made so much payment already. That's why now we are on this path. It is not a small thing that any person you're seeing around you, he got convinced to serve Krishna. It is really not a small thing. Never take it for granted. If you're on this path, never take it for granted. It's extremely, extremely rare. And you will be able to understand this thing when you will preach to other people. How difficult it is for them to accept it. How can only one person be your supreme personality? They are always perplexed like this. They're always perplexed like this. How can only one person be a supreme personality? So one should understand this thing. So, so this life is meant for rectification of all the mistakes that we have committed. Let's read this one more para and then we'll stop. We still have 20 minutes. Yes. If one sets fire to unwanted grass and creepers in a field, they will all be burned. Similarly, by the process of austerity and penance, one can liquidate all sinful activities and become purified. But Shukdev Goswami suggests an alternate process. केचित् केवल्य भक्त्या वासुदेव अगहम धुन्वन्ति अगहम धुन्वन्ति कृत्स्येन निहरम इव bhaskara. Generally, if one leads an austere and pious life of celibacy, equanimity, charity, etc., people will say that he is a very pious man. But simply by becoming Krishna conscious, one can kill all the resultant actions of his past sinful life. A fog disappears as soon as the sun rises, and Krishna rises with the brilliance of thousands of suns. So, just like a sun, he disappears all the darkness. Same way, when any person he takes shelter of Krishna, then Krishna is like the rays of the brilliance of thousands of suns. And that's why, we hear this that only one name, like one holy name of Krishna, is all enough to vanish all the sinful activities, all the sinful reactions of a person. Are you just understanding the potency of the holy name? No, we really can't understand with this material intelligence. We really can't understand the potency of the holy name of Krishna. And even I was bewildered. I mean, I'm not saying that I am a great person. Definitely, there are chances of me becoming bewildered. I mean, I was not doubting, but I was confused. Yesterday, we had this discussion in afternoon class that any person, if he has taken names of, like even he has said Krishna even once, then also he will never fall down in lowest species. But I was thinking that any person, if he is like whatever he is doing, just suppose any person he's habitual of consuming meat. So because he has that kind of desires of consuming meat, so definitely he'll get a body of a lion or a tiger or whatever animals, carnivorous animals or eagle or whatever. So because he has these desires, then he will definitely get that kind of body. But it's not like that. Because if he has said Krishna even for once, then all of those sinful activities he committed, it all vanished away. And any person who has said Krishna even for once, even he is not aware of this thing, that Krishna is Supreme Personality, even he is not aware about the glories of of the holy name of Krishna, then also Krishna assumes him as his dear devotee. Just see the mercy of Krishna. So it is like very much amazing na, that any person takes shelter of Krishna instead of following all these pious activities, all the sacrifices, the yagyas, etc., etc. This process is accepted only by someone who is very fortunate. So, all right, we will be continuing this discussion in our next class if Krishna is willing. We will stop here now. Thank you so much for joining. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.